What if I told you that it's a well-documented fact that many anti-colonialist and anti-imperialist African leaders like Patrice Lumumba, Amilcar Cabral, Ruben Unyombe, Sylvanus Olympio, Eduardo Mondlane, Thomas Sankara, Barthélemy Boganda, and many other African superheroes were assassinated by Western powers or their agents? Do you know that the reason many of these superheroes and leaders were targeted by those Western powers wasn't because they were terrorists or maybe mass murderers of their people, but due to their opposition to colonialism, imperialism, and the exploitation of African people and resources? It's important to note that all these African anti-colonialists had one thing in common. Please pay attention. None of them was a capitalist. While some of them, such as Amilcar Cabral, Thomas Sankara, Ruben Unyombe, and Samora Machel, were Marxist communists and sought to establish socialist systems in their countries. Others, such as Papa Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, and Julius Nyerere, were social democrats and nationalists. And despite the ideological differences of these African heroes, they were nonetheless united in their opposition to colonialism and their vision for a more just and equitable future for their people. And this was a big threat to Western influence on the continent. Hence, they were all targeted for assassination or other forms of political violence. They were all marked for death. So, as I promised, this page, Africa is Not in Hollywood, aims to educate and inspire Africans, especially the youth and others who care to know about the lives and legacies of these remarkable individuals who made significant contributions to the struggle for freedom and self-determination in Africa. But before I go any further, I would like to take a moment to express my profound gratitude for your support and for following my TikTok account after I made that video last week. And as an Africanist, it is incredibly rewarding to know that this topic resonates with such an amazing audience. Your follows, likes, comments, and shares provided me with the motivation to continue with this project, and I want to say thank you all for making this happen. So without wasting more of your time, or as they will say, without much ado, let's get into it.
Patrice Lumumba became the Congo's first prime minister after it gained independence in 1960. But he was only in office for a few months before he fell out with the country's former colonial ruler, which led to him being ousted in a coup, imprisoned, tortured, and later executed.
Today, I will be talking about one of the most high-profile assassination cases in African history, that of Patrice Lumumba, the first democratically elected Prime Minister of the Congo. But who exactly was Patrice Lumumba? Who killed him, and why was he killed? Patrice Emery Lumumba was born in the Belgian Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, in 1925. And because Lumumba was not only intelligent but also a charismatic leader, he quickly rose to prominence in the anti-colonial movement in the Congo. Ideologically an African nationalist and a Pan-Africanist, he played a significant role in the transformation of the Congo from a colony of Belgium into an independent republic. He was a founding member of the Mouvement National Congolais, MNC, a political party that advocated for independence from Belgian colonial rule. Now, in June 1960, Congo gained independence, and Lumumba became the country's first democratically elected prime minister. As a passionate and eloquent speaker, he used his position to advocate for African unity and the establishment of a truly independent Congo. Now, he quickly gained popularity among the Congolese people, but also faced opposition from Belgium and the United States, who saw him as a threat to their interest in that region. A mutiny in the Congolese army broke out shortly after the country's independence in 1960, and this marked the beginning of the Congolese crisis, coupled with the secession of Katanga. Now, Lumumba appealed to the United States and United Nations for help to suppress the Belgian-backed Katangan secessionists led by Moise Tshombe. Having been convinced by the Belgian authorities that Lumumba was a communist, anti-white and anti-Western, both the US and the UN declined to help. Now, these fears of communism were heightened when Lumumba then turned to the Soviet Union for assistance, a move which the CIA regarded as a classic communist takeover. This led to escalating schism with President Joseph Kasavubu and the Chief of Staff Joseph Désiré Mobutu, as well as the United States and Belgium. But for a better understanding, let's know what really started the mutiny. Now, on the morning of 5th July 1960, General Emile Janssens, the commander of the Force Publique, a white Belgian, summoned all personnel on duty at Camp Leopold in response to growing excitement within the Congolese ranks. He commanded that the army should maintain its discipline. And for emphasis, you know what he did? He wrote on a blackboard, "Before independence is equal after independence," which means you are not independent yet. This sparked a series of protests, and that evening the Congolese sacked the canteen in protest of Janssens. Lumumba fired Janssens the next day and promoted all Congolese soldiers by one grade. He Africanized the army by naming Sergeant Major Victor Lundula as General and Commander-in-Chief, and Colonel and former soldier Joseph Mobutu as Army Chief of Staff. Despite Lundula's inexperience and rumors concerning Mobutu's ties to Belgian and US intelligence services, Lumumba still made these promotions. Now, Lumumba's socialist and nationalist political views, as well as his strong desires for Congo's independence and sovereignty, made him a threat to the interest of these Western powers, particularly Belgium, the former colonial power in the Congo. And talking about interest, I mean Belgian interest. And with Belgian interest, I mean Union Minière de Haute-Katanga. Now pay attention. Union Minière de Haute-Katanga, which is literally translated as Mining Union of Upper Katanga, was a Belgian mining company with a minority British share, which controlled and operated the mining industry in the Copperbelt region in the Congo. Now, for us to understand why Lumumba was killed, we need to talk about this, because this is very important. In 1959, Belgian profits from the Union Minière were in excess of 3.5 billion Belgian francs at that time. It is reported that in 1960, the Union Minière had annual sales of 200 million USD. It had produced 60% of the uranium in the West, 73% of the cobalt, and 10% of the copper. In a nutshell, Union Minière owned everything. In fact, it owned Congo.